Hello everyone. So you are just starting out in the Magic the Gathering arena and you want to know how to play the basic black deck. In this case, Cold-Blooded Killer. Now this is a deck that is relatively easy to play since it is a basic deck, but there are a few mechanics that you might want to know. Now this deck has a good mana curve. The mana curve is basically slowly playing the cards. For example, if you have only super strong cards but that go down with a lot of mana, you're going to struggle in the early turns, and vice versa. If you have a lot of cards that play early, you'll struggle later on. This deck has a good balance and has a lot of creatures like Savage Gorger that allows you to have a creature that starts relatively weak and slowly becomes stronger. Now, this is a very basic deck. Of course, there are a lot of changes that you can make, but let's start analyzing it a little bit. For the one card, this is a -1/-1 that can be -2/-2 and -3/-3, depending on how many of them you have played during the game. And this is something that you usually want to use as an instant against an opponent creature while you are fighting, or maybe in special situation to kill creatures. This is a good card, but it is a good card that allows you to have a strong unit 1/2 in early on that returns. So it's a very good blocker, and this is also a pretty good blocker because it has that touch, which means that it destroys the creature that fights this card. The key to this deck, though, is to destroy the opponent's creatures with, for example, this card, which is a creature that deals 1 damage, or Murder, which literally destroys the target creatures, or -1/-1. This is why they're Cold-Blooded Killers. But pay attention when you do that, because if, for example, if you only have 1 Murder and you use it very early to kill a weak creature, your opponent might play after a couple of turns a really strong creature, and you regret that you didn't keep Murder in your hand. So think about this deck more of a chess type of game, where you need to understand when to kill certain creatures, when to play certain instants, and when to call back certain cards in order to block. And the goal of this deck is kind of to manage the situation, to control the environment, and more slowly kill your opponents with flying creatures. And yeah, this is a pretty easy deck to play. There are a couple of mechanics. For example, you can kill creatures, and you can have Malakir actually get stronger depending on the creatures that you have that you kill, and slowly you will manage the situation and kill. This is not a deck that you have to play every card that you have in the moment you can play it. You just have to manage it and slowly builds up. For example, in a red deck, you might want to play as soon as you can everything so that you can attack. This deck is different. You just have to manage the situation and again play a chess game. And that is it. That is how you play Cold-Blooded Killer in a pretty easy way. I'm not showing you any games and such, because you should play the game your way and have fun. This is just an overview of how the deck plays. I hope you liked this video. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and see you next time.